Hello everyone, thank you for coming to my presentation of Men in Makeup. My name is Brenda Martinez. I come from Communications 122, Section 3839. Makeup has been a thing that has been around since the times of ancient Egyptians, since the times of Cleopatra and the pharaohs, and it was a thing that wasn't simply just used for one to be able to accentuate their own beauty and cover up blemishes and imperfections, but it was used also for reasons like medical, traditional, and or even religious as well. And it was a thing that wasn't just used by just women. It was a thing that was used by both men and women at the time. So with this being said, by listening to my presentation today, I hope to expand your knowledge on the impact that men have had in the makeup community today. Makeup has always been one of my biggest hobbies. I've always been into makeup, and it is one of my favorite things to do, to buy and collect and create new makeup looks. And I myself am a supporter of a lot of these creators and business industries that I will be talking about today. And with this being said, today in my presentation, I would like for you to have a better understanding on the diversity that has been brought into the makeup world and the change that has been brought to by these men. First, I will start off by giving a brief history of the background of makeup. Then I will introduce these men and the success that they have brought. Finally, I will talk about the impact that they have had in society today. Makeup has been around for several decades now. It's been around since 10,000 BCE, and it was a thing that was used, like I had stated before, by men and women. And at the time, it wasn't just used for beauty, it was used for stuff like traditional reasons, such as a lot of the pharaohs believed that it was used to be able to protect them from the gods. It was used for religious purposes. They believed that makeup was a magical thing. It was like a magical power because it did have a lot of healing benefits. They would see that it did affect their skin in a good way. Makeup has been around for several decades now. It was created in about 10,000 BCE by ancient Egyptians, and like I had said before, it didn't have a certain gender role to it, and it was used for several reasons. It was used for reasons like medical, traditional, religious. They believed that makeup at the time would keep the gods away from them. They would protect them from the gods. They also believed that it did have magical powers. They believed that because it was a beauty product, it would have had a lot of benefits to the skin, and so they believed that it was some type of magical source. And for medical reasons, they used it for stuff to protect the skin. For example, in a picture here, you can see a pharaoh, and he has a lot of dark outline around his eyes, and this is what we call now to be eyeliner. And at the time, they would use a thing called kohl, which was a substance made from charcoal, and they would put it around their eyes to protect them from the sunlight. It was a thing that was used by both men and women for several centuries. It wasn't until the 18th century, after the American Revolution, where it did start to become more socially unacceptable, not just for men, but for women as well. It was considered of lower class or an act of prostitution if one were to wear really bright colors on their eyes, dark red lips, or dark foundation on their face. It was a thing of the wealthy to have a more classy look, which was considered pale skin. As you can see here, they did have a lot of bare face, natural look, but with a white powder base. And that was considered to be more towards wealthy people and, like I had said, classy. And it wasn't until the 19th century where it was starting to become more acceptable again to wear makeup, and a lot of industries and beauty products were being created. In 1928, the first lip gloss was created by a man named Max Factor, who was a beautician. And then in 1932, the Revson brothers, Joseph and Charles, founded Revlon, along with Charles Lanchman, who did provide the L for the name of Revlon. Then we have D.W. Griffith, a filmmaker who did create falsies, or what we know to be eyelashes. And these were just a few of the several many men who created beauty products or founded industries. And so now that you have gained a bit more knowledge on the history of makeup, let me introduce to you the men who have had an impact in the beauty community and their success. Now, 6 out of 25 beauty influencers identified in 2016 were men, and some of these men may consist of who you may know today, who are some of the most popular creators thanks to YouTube or Instagram, social media platforms. We have Jeffree Star, one of the biggest, Patrick Star, Bretman Rock, James Charles, Manny MUA. These are just a few of several many other ones. And these men have had collaborations with so many companies and have helped break so many beauty standards. And first, there's Jeffree Star. He's one of the most famous beauty gurus there is, and he does, along with his own successful makeup line, have a successful collaboration with Morphe. He's also one of the highest paid. In 2018, he had accumulated about 18 million from 18 million earnings, and Morphe also collaborated with Bretman, James Charles, and they're both successful as well. And then Bretman Rock and Patrick Star have had collaborations with Benefits, and they have had successful sales as well. Then other companies started to introduce more men into their business, into their line as well. In October of 2016, CoverGirl named James Charles the first male ambassador. Then in August 2018, Chanel created a line for men called Boy de Chanel, which consisted of eyeliner and eyebrow products and foundation for men. Then 3 months later, a lot of more companies started to tag along, and Maybelline then named Manny Gutierrez, also known as Manny MUA, as their first male New York ambassador. And with all of these men running the beauty industry, then there was an increase in the searches for men's makeup. Now that we have learned about who has made an impact in the beauty community and the success that they have brought into the business, let me variegate your knowledge on how they have had an impact in society today. Now, men wearing makeup has become more common. It has become worldwide, and these men have brought lots and lots of change into the business. For centuries, makeup has played a huge part, but it wasn't until recently that it had started to become more mainstream. Social media did play a huge factor into this. Back in years prior, you probably wouldn't have seen on YouTube a tutorial for makeup by men. You probably would have seen beauty gurus like Michelle Pham or Bethany Moda, or just you would see a female. And with the help of YouTube and other platforms like Instagram. Back in the day, you probably wouldn't have seen a male giving a beauty tutorial right when YouTube first started. It was very uncommon. Now most of the popular videos of makeup tutorials are by men, and they have billions and millions of supporters, and it is becoming more worldwide, more common to see a man wearing makeup. Back in the day, it did have a few years ago, makeup played a huge part, but it wasn't until now that it is becoming more mainstream. And until recently, the growth of beauty products has become even more bigger. In, I'd say, 2016, the growth for men products have surpassed the growth of women's beauty products, and this just shows that lots of men are becoming more invested in their appearance. And it doesn't necessarily mean that a man has to wear makeup. There's a lot of beauty products for skincare or hair care. And so now that I have informed you on how men have had an impact in the makeup business, first I gave a brief history of makeup. Then second, I described a few of the men and the success that they've had. Finally, I have stated how much of an impact has happened now in society. Times are changing all the time. We are all moving at a fast pace, and as time goes on, things just keep on evolving. With the help of high-tech technology, we are able to break beauty standards with the help of social media as well. Especially, we are able to share new trends or influence change, and these men have done that. They have helped a lot in changing standards today, and they really have truly left the mark in the beauty community. Now, a reason to remember would be because beauty is for everyone. We all have the right to do what we love and feel comfortable in our own skin, whether that be with makeup or beauty products or not. And as generations extend, we are becoming more open to lots of change, and we are seeing so much more change right before our eyes. And we are becoming more open to diversity, and as generations extend, we are becoming more diverse, and we are seeing so much change happening just before our eyes. And so many of these things are becoming natural. If someone loves to do things such as makeup, then it should be, and they have a passion for it, then they should go ahead and keep doing it, regardless of what those who disagree have to say. Thank you for coming to my presentation of Men in Makeup. Thank you for listening.